Titles, go.
I finished.
Restaurant beef.
Miserable together.
Dirty chicken.
My happy place.
White people's barrel.
Hansen's disease.
What do you want me to tell you?
Swole stump.
Midget tossing?
Boba Fett Jr.
Am I allowed to hate Barbie?
A few good green men.
Do the work.
Chill. Down.
Quack. Let's do this.
Warning. What you are about to hear contains explicit language, adult themes, and potentially disturbing content. The views and opinions expressed are those of the hosts and do not reflect the opinions of anyone else, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. This podcast is intended for an immature audience and should not be listened to by anyone, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. You know, fuck it. You've been warned.
Hello, welcome to this week's edition of Geek Pod. I'm your host, Paul.
I'm Hugh.
And his mic is off. Perfect. I'm Cav.
I am not Corbs. I'm Jack.
But also a Corbs.
But also
Anyway, guys, what's got you geeked?
I am drinking a Moxie because I just came back from Maine.
A diet,
Oh, dude.
Moxie.
A diet Moxie.
Do you like it though? I mean, honestly,
I
you
love
really
it.
like
It
it?
is, I
Okay.
absolutely love it. It is.
are you
amazing.
advertising for them? You're like,
My wife says it tastes like toothpaste.
Yeah.
But I think it's great. I think it's
People,
like
people either love it or hate it.
I wish I was there for MoxieFest because it's apparently a thing there. But anyway, so we went to Maine and we had a good time. It was a little bit nerve-wracking because we did something a little different this year, and we brought along Gigi, which is the show kind of knows Helen, my wife's best friend. It's her daughter, the one that's Avery's age. They're best friends. I mean, they've been together since they were babies. And we kind of thought that, Avery goes on vacation with us and we're two old, boring people and she's always miserable. So we thought maybe if we brought along a friend, they could go do shit and we could all enjoy ourselves. Kind of worked. Avery was still kind of miserable for the whole trip. That's kind of her thing. But there were glimmers of her having fun. We did lots of beaching, 7 trips to the beach in 5 days. Oh my God, I'm so beached out.
that's great.
But there's beautiful beaches there. But we went to Orchard Beach. We did they did the theme park, the boardwalk, the pier, all that kind of stuff. I had some good food. Were you going to say something, Kev?
Wasn't Avery smiling in one of those pictures? At least one of them.
At least one, yeah, she was. But there were some where she just looked like we had a fun time. We went to the Portland Headlight, which is the most photographed lighthouse in the United States. Avery almost died.
What?
There is off to the side from the lighthouse. They actually have it open for people to go down on it, but these rocky ledges that go all the way down to the ocean, and it's really far, probably 100, 200 yards. You have to see it. It's not just a couple rocks and there's the ocean. It's crevasses and you're jumping over shit. She starts beelining right down there. And I'm like, you know what? Somebody better go with her. And of course, I really shouldn't be out there, especially in Crocs, but I did it anyway. We get down to the bottom where definitely the water comes up on the rocks, and she's trying to get to the rock furthest out to where she can see the ocean. Steps on one that's covered in algae, slips, almost loses her phone and her into the ocean. I've got to find 2 dry places and bend over and grab her hand because she can't move. If she moves, she's falling into the ocean. Yeah. So that was fun. We also had a very interesting experience, and I have some Google reviews up now. Because our last night there, we were looking to have dinner somewhere. We hadn't really done a fancy dinner. We had dinner the night we got into town at a Mexican place because it was Damara's birthday. But we've been keeping it low key since there was more people and it was getting pretty expensive. decide we're going to go somewhere nice. So we look up this place. We passed it on the way through, called the Bull and Claw. And it's like an old restaurant, been around for 50 years, whatever. Sounds great. Looking at the reviews, some people talk about the crazy lady who answers the phone. Anyway, I call up because it's about 4:15. We're at the beach. I call them to find out if we need reservations and if they generally are super busy on a Monday. Now, I know that it's a vacation destination of the summer, but half their restaurants are closed on Monday and Tuesday. Like, those are slower days. So, I thought it was a reasonable question. Lady on the other end of the phone goes, "It's summer. What do you want me to tell you?" I'm like, okay, bye-bye. Turned around, called another place I'd read about called Billy's Chowder Shack or Chowder House, Chowder Shack. And they, same question. I'm like, oh, well, we do get a little busy, but it shouldn't be longer than a 25-minute wait. Perfect answer. That's how you get somebody's business. So we go there and have the best damn meal of the trip. Best fried seafood I've ever had. And I got to try oysters for the first time. Raw oysters on the half shell. They were delicious.
No.
And afterwards, I left a review of the Bull and Claw, basically stating, I asked a question. This is the answer I got. This is the answer that I got from the other restaurant who actually wanted my business. So thank you for not wanting us, because that led us to have the best meal of our trip, something to that effect. The owner goes, "Well, we just can't handle 300 people in one night." That was his response on Google. I'm like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything I said?
No,
You fucking jackass.
If he wants your business, he'll make it work.
I don't understand why you would treat somebody calling to come there for dinner like that.
Do we have beef with a restaurant in fucking Maine now?
We have beef with a restaurant in Maine. And it's public too, because my Google review is up and he replied to it, and I can't reply to him. They don't let you go back and forth. At least I can't find a way. What are you doing? Stop it. Stop it.
Dude, I always do show notes. What the fuck?
Am I what?
Are you a Google what do they call them?
Yelpers?
No, the Google what
I don't know. Do you mean the people who have lots of reviews and everything?
Yeah.
Yes, I am. And I didn't even do it on purpose. It's not like, some people are like, oh, I have to review everything. I just started reviewing shit, and my pictures and my reviews, they're like, 10,000 people have looked at your review or looked at your picture. I'm like, holy shit.
I just got my 7-year badge with that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But
I have a photo on there that's been viewed over 500,000 times.
That is pretty awesome.
That's Kevin's left nipple.
I thought it was just his mustache.
No, actually, it's my wife at the top of Mount Washington.
But let's see, was there anything else of note? I mean, there were lots of things that happened. It was a pretty good time. The hotel was all right. At one point, I think the guy at the desk was like trying to hit on me. It was really creepy. But I go down there to ask for a couple extra pillows, and he's like, and I can't.
Big boy.
Do you want those firm or soft, big boy?
Where's your hand?
I might actually do better than that if I could talk. So he says to me, and I don't want to use an Indian accent because that would be like racist or something, but he basically leans in and he's like, "So have you gone to a lot of beaches? Which beaches do you like? What kind of sand do you like?" And it was just really, really hushed tones. I'm like, well, I like the white sand's nice. Oh, I like the white sand, especially further south with the blue waters. It was just a really bizarre. And then at the end, it's like, "I'll go get your pillows." I'm just like, what the fuck was that? It was so weird. And I also discovered this stuff. It's really good if you have a chance to try it. Cabot cheddar cheese popcorn. Cheesiest popcorn I've ever tasted. Like by like double. I just bought it because it was Cabot. It was like an actual name brand cheese. It wasn't just like, Clancy's white cheddar popcorn. It was an actual brand, but really good. But I think that's it. I mean, I could probably go on more, but
I can lend you my section too if you want. You just
that's okay. Because then I'd have to give it back and stop.
So we've all seen the movie Happy Gilmore, basically. Like, go to your happy place. So right after this podcast last Wednesday, my buddy called me, and I haven't seen him in I would say almost a year now, because he's just always busy. I'm always busy. He's like, so you want to go jet skiing on Sunday? So I'm like, fuck yeah. So I used to go like every summer. I would go like jet skiing like 6-8 times a summer. So I was like, he never follows through though. He always says over promises and then he never get to do it. So like I text him all week. I'm like, we still on for jet skiing? We still on? No response. And then literally Sunday morning, like at 10 a.m., he's like, I'll be at your house in 10 minutes. I'm like, okay. So
What's your buddy's name?
Corey Martino. So
Either one of you guys hang out with Nicholas Enrique?
no.
Okay.
So his dad has a house in Elbridge. So across lake we were jet skiing, and literally we jet skied from Elbridge all the way to Baldwinsville. So you're going fast, you're going over like waves, you're doing like donuts in the water. Like, yes, you probably think of me, you're like, how can you do that? So like I said, I've been
the machine. It doesn't.
No, I know. I've been jet skiing since I've been 9 years old. So it's so much fun. I just love being on the water. And like, as you know, Sunday's weather was just like mid-70s. It was perfect. Just like going so fast. Like literally, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I got so high off the water. Like literally I hit a wave and I slammed so hard back down. I almost got waterlogged for the jet ski, but it was just like so perfect. It was like awesome. So like usually you go so fast and then you like do some more wheelies and all that. So it was just a lot of fun. So people say like Kev, like people on motorcycles, they have fun doing that. My happy place is just being on the water, doing some jet skiing, and it was just a blast.
You loved Wave Race 64, didn't you?
I did. That was my game.
Good game.
What do you know which character I used for the
I don't remember the characters.
Okay. It was like a character with like green and purple or something like that. But yes, Wave Race 64 was my game. Good one, Hugh.
Add that in.
Wow, that's funny. I'm still trying to figure out how you do a wheelie on a thing that has no wheels.
Well, yeah, I don't know how you do it, but yeah, you're just doing all sorts of things on it. It was just so much fun. Like we could do so many different tricks with it. It was neat.
What do they call it when you do that on a snowmobile, Kev?
Flipping over backwards.
Damn near
If
dying.
you're not doing a wheelie on a snowmobile.
Track stand or something like that. I'm not sure.
All right.
Some people call it wheelie, I guess. But snowmobiles have wheels inside the track.
Yes, they do inside the track.
Those are
yes.
wheels. Those are wheels. All right, I got something. So, I finished. If you remember back in June, I went on the one ride I told you guys about, the Northeast backcountry discovery route. Went from New Hampshire down to Hancock, New York. So it just follows all these crooked, dirt roads and trails and whatever. Almost 1,300 miles. Well, we left in June. You left on the 16th. By that Friday, there was all this rain and storm and crap coming up the East Coast. So midday Friday, we're like, okay, if we continue to go south, we're gonna get hammered. And two friends of mine that had continued on, they did get hammered, and they were just covered in rain. Just they said it was horrible. Well, we left and where we stopped was Gilboa, New York, in that area. So Saturday, I didn't really have anything else going on. So I left Saturday morning, left my house, I don't know, 6:30, before 7 o'clock, whatever it was, and headed down towards Gilboa, picked the track back up, ended up in Andes, New York that night. I got this phenomenal campsite. So I'm going to give this guy a plug, dirtroadcamp.com. He's in the Catskills, Andes, New York. And he's got this phenomenal campsite. I mean, he's got this elevated platform with a wall tent on it. He's got a camp that he built into the side of the mountain with the whole back wall is all rock. He's got an elevated tent site where it's got multiple levels. And he's got in that same site, there's a 4-seat merry-go-round fire pit. He's got all this awesome stuff. He's an interesting guy. We hung out that night. He came up with a couple of beers, and I had some beers, and we hung out, and we shot the shit and drank some beers and rode all over the mountain in his side by side. He showed me all of his different stuff and the lookouts and the trails, and he has a little general store built up there. It was just a phenomenal place. The funny part about it was I was just going to get a campsite there, just a place to put my tent up, but I knew the rain was coming in Saturday night. So I texted him early on, and I'm like, do you have like a pavilion or something I can hide under until like 5, 6 o'clock at night, which is when the rain was going to stop. By that time, it would have been passed by. And he's like, oh, yeah. I got you all taken care of. Okay. I didn't even think about it. I get there, follow him up the road to where he's got me for the night. It's the freaking elevated platform with the wall tent on it. He put me in this awesome campsite, and I'm just like, how did that even happen? The family that was in there, the gentleman of the family had hurt himself that day hiking, and so they had to leave early. So he opened it. It ended up opening up. He gave it to me for the cost of what would have been a tent site. I was dry. I was living in luxury. This place has a bed and a wood stove and a kitchen area, a couch. I mean, you don't even know. I mean, it was the craziest thing. It was like it was meant to be. Like I was supposed to be there that night. The ride all day Saturday was phenomenal. The overnight was great. It was 82, I think, was the high on Saturday that I saw. Like 100%, 98% humidity. That night, I woke up 54 degrees Sunday morning.
Nice.
What a change. Oh my God. What a change. But it was awesome. I'll take that. I'll take that cooler weather any day. Rode all day Sunday. It was just a phenomenal day. Went down into Andy's, got breakfast. I just had a bagel and some coffee. And this is pretty funny. I mean, I don't know. I think it's funny. I left the diner a little before I should have, you know what I mean? Because you just get up in the morning, you have some coffee. I probably should have hung out for another 30 minutes. Riding along, and I'm like, oh man. And I'm just looking. I'm like, I'm gonna pass a camp, and they're gonna have an outhouse. And I'm stopping. I don't know. I don't care if anybody's home. I'm stopping. I get almost to Hancock, New York, which is where the end is. And there's this, I'm driving along and I look over and there's this outhouse. I mean, it's, the porta potty and a parking lot next to what looks like it's a closed down bar or something. So I whip in there, jump off the bike, and I go and I open the door to the outhouse. It's like somebody just cleaned it. So I'm gripping clothes off, and I'm just so happy to find this place. And it's like everything that happened this past weekend, everything just fell in place. I was done. I was in Hancock, New York with the end of the BDR. I was there by like 12:20 in the afternoon, sitting in another diner, having a real full breakfast this time, and left there. I ended up home by 4:30 in the afternoon. Did not think I was going to end up home until Monday because I wasn't really sure. The last leg from Andy's to Hancock was 135 miles, but I didn't know how difficult it was. There was some questionable stuff in there, but it was really fun. It was all dry. It was nice and beautiful waterfalls on this section. Happy to be done. Paul will probably could tell you that I've been a disagreeable fuck for the entire second half of June. And it's really been gnawing on me that I wasn't able to finish. Now I'm finished, I'm done, and I'm
Still a disagreeable fuck.
Well, I'm still a disagreeable fuck. And I guess that's never going to change.
Nope.
But at least I'm happy now.
Because you finished.
They finished. It's a big deal. It's a 1,300-mile track. I mean, I got over 2,000 miles invested in that, and I mean, it was a great ride. But to get almost done and then have to abandon, that sucked. So I'm happy.
So, Kev, would you do it again so that you could do the whole thing in over the course of like whatever, how many days it would be? Would you go and do the whole thing if you could do it all together?
I would do it. I would do it again, and I think I would do it differently. I think this last time I tried to push it too hard, and I tried to get done in less than a week or whatever, less than 7 days. I think I'd want to do each section in one day so that you could really enjoy the sections,
Right.
and you could get to the end, and then you could get a nice place to stay, whether it's a campsite or a hotel or whatever, and then enjoy the local, whatever it is, grocery or restaurants or whatever, because it's different depending on where you end up. The BDRs are really laid out in a way to allow you to end up in a place that's very interesting to be. You know what I mean? To stay there and to enjoy and to absorb. And I think I'd rather do it that way. If I do another one, and I will do more, because they've got them all across the United States. I think when I do more, I'm really going to do them the way they design it, which is one section per day, and I'm going to do it that way. I will definitely do the NEBDR again, and I'll do it south to north, the way it's intended to be, and I'll stop at the end of each section, and I'll do it that way.
So, because I mean, you were just saying that there's some like beautiful scenery, some nice waterfalls. Yeah. Get out and enjoy those, as opposed to, like you said, just driving straight through and say, "Oh, look, there's a water." So you would stop at those places.
Yeah.
Like you said, take a day and drive a section and hit all the spots and whatever. Okay.
Yeah, I took more pictures Saturday and Sunday. I took more pictures, stopped and took more pictures Saturday and Sunday than I did the entire time that we did the NEBDR initially, and that's really not the way to do it. Pushing hard and pushing through it, that's really not the way to do it. Even though I've been through a lot of those areas before and I knew the areas, it's so beautiful. The roads are just amazing, and the areas are just so beautiful, just stunning areas. And I stopped in this one, I come down this road, and it took a right turn. And as I'm coming down across this road and I'm overlooking this field, I look to my right, and this field overlooks this valley. So I had to stop and take a picture. I'm like, this is the Northeast. This is why we live here. Right. It's not because we love the taxes. It's because it's a beautiful place. Right. You get out.
And to be honest with you, it's probably places that a lot of people who don't ride probably don't get to see very often. Yeah. Which is nice. I mean, those are places that you'd like to go and see and whatnot. So
if you guys have never spent any time in like Vermont and New Hampshire, just the little towns that are there, like Stowe, Vermont, or there's some other places in New Hampshire, Conway. Conway, kind of a touristy place, but it's okay. If you've never spent any time in those towns, I really suggest maybe looking them up and maybe putting them on your list, because there's so much really cool stuff to see there. Cool hiking trails, train rides, just all sorts of really, really cool stuff. And it really gives you that, this is what the Northeast has to offer. And it makes it a lot easier to say, I live in upstate New York, and I'm okay with it, because a lot of people are like, why the fuck did you live there? Like, the governor's an asshole, the taxes are crazy high. But you know what? I don't live in a country where I jumped onto a cargo ship's rudder to get away. Yeah, think about that. A couple of guys from Nigeria stowed away on a cargo ship's rudder, on top of the rudder, 14 days to get to Brazil, ran out of food and water after 10 days. I don't live in that country. I'm pretty fucking happy.
America.
Proud to be an American.
I'm pretty fucking happy I live here.
Yeah.
You and me both. I
Mhm.
couldn't deal with that shit.
So that's what's got me geeked. I've been rejuvenated, and I'm in a better place.
well, it's good. I'm glad you got to complete it. I know that had been talking about it for a while and stuff. So that's great. I'm glad you actually got to get all the way through it. Sorry it took you so long to get all the way through it, but yeah, you did it. So
Look, yeah.
all right, I guess it's my turn. I guess, right?
Yeah, we got you on a
Mike-
roll. Keep talking.
By the way, my mic is on now.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We
I
noticed.
didn't realize I'd shut it off last week.
Ah,
So
you had to recharge it.
I did. So for what's got me geeked is this weekend actually. So I got a couple things going on this weekend. Saturday I'm going to a graduation party with Kelly for her cousin. It's his daughter. It's her graduation party. She just graduated from CNS. She's going to Lemoyne for school, which is pretty cool. So we're going to be there on Saturday, and then on Sunday, I'm taking my son to Binghampton for Spiedefest and Balloon
Nice.
Rally.
Good
So,
time.
Yeah, we used to go when I was together with my ex. We used to go every year. She's from down that area, and she lives down that area now. So she called me last week and wanted to know if he wanted to come down for it. So I talked to my son about it, and he's like, "Yeah, I want to go." So so we're gonna go down on Sunday. Probably leave a little early in the morning. I don't know, like 9-10 o'clock. Drive down to Binghampton, or just north of Binghampton. She lives just north of Binghampton. Stop down there, pick her up, and then drive into Binghampton and go down there for it's called Spiedefest and Balloon Rally. They have hot air balloons that launch usually around, I want to say like 5 or 6 o'clock at night. They launch in the morning too, but we won't be there for the morning launch. It's like right at dusk or dawn, right at dawn, right smack in the mornings. First thing in the morning they launch them, and then they come back and they launch them in the afternoon, early evening. So we'll go down there for that and spend the day down there. And then last Sunday, I went to my dad's for a cookout. He had everybody over. He had me and my sister, my mom. My aunt was in town from Virginia. We had it was like a family cookout, and he made something called dirty chicken, which is just basically chicken thighs.
Dirty chicken.
Yeah, right. He made those. He got a new flat top grill that he wanted to use. Yeah,
Blackstone?
Blackstone. Yeah. He got that. He's got a smoker. So he smoked chicken. He smoked the dirty chicken. He made another piece of chicken that had chicken with bacon wrapped around it, which was really good. My dad likes to cook. He's got some of that gene in him. So we did that, and then he made ribs, and then he did just some regular shrimp with some Old Bay seasoning on it, little olive oil and stuff like that. So we went over there and had some pretty good food, and just hung out for the afternoon with the family. So which was nice. My dad and his wife and my mom, and my sister, and everybody was there. My brother came too. So Lieutenant Dan was there.
Lieutenant Dan.
So
You got new legs, Lieutenant Dan.
So he hasn't been getting out too much. He's had some issues with his prosthetic. So they're working on getting him a different one or something. He's had some issues with the stump. So
that shit can take a while. A buddy of mine's been dealing with his for almost 40 years.
yeah, it's different because when it first happens, the knee or the stump is swollen, and then as you get slowly it'll start to like but the swelling goes down, and then the prosthetic doesn't fit right, and they have to refit it every so often. So I'm assuming he's got to go back to the place that he got it from, which and get it kind of resized and all that stuff for him. So but it was just nice to hang out and see him. His birthday was last Tuesday. So we were at Cracker Barrel one night for dinner, and I found my brother's a big Bob Ross fan. He used to he's Happy Trees and all that stuff.
The politically correct way to say that is white people's barrel.
Jesus.
Touche. So I found a Bob Ross pen. So I bought him that and I gave it to him for his birthday. So he loved it. So
It occurs to me that this group of people knows a higher percentage of people with prosthetic legs than I think is probably the average. That's strange.
it's true.
I have
It's
a cousin
funny.
with one, so
Well, it's funny, Corbs. I was at a Halloween party
That's
2 years ago, I want to say. I could have sworn at this party there was probably about 20 people, right? At least 7 were Bob Ross. I'm like, am I missing something?
Yeah, it was right before he died, or right after he died. Everybody got into this huge Bob Ross kick, and my brother was one of them. He actually has the outfit to be Bob Ross. He found it at whatever Spirit of Halloween or whatever, and bought it. So that's it for me.
Outstanding. Mine quickly is just my busy ass August. Starting this next week. I mean, I'm Saturday. We're doing SummerSlam at my house, which I'm assuming you're not coming, Corbs.
As far as right now, probably not. But
And then I've got another Atlanta trip. Then I'm heading off to New Hampshire and Salem. And then we've all got Sci-Fi Horror Fest coming up at the end of the month. Going to be good times had by all. There is the potential, it's in talks right now. There may be a live Geek Pod on stage.
Oh,
So
fuck yeah.
we'll see what happens there. Because with the SAG-AFTRA strike, we may have to step in and fill some time. So
I have an idea for that. I think I might approach somebody at the show, find somebody that's selling a game or that has a game, and then maybe plug their company. Let's say it's like a store that sells games. We can plug them and then you show one of their games, or if it's one of the game makers, plug their game actually on live
show.
If we do a live show.
Yes. It's funny. I was just telling Corbs the other night that I've got some designs for the show for content for the show.
Cool.
So, but I'm not ready to really reveal it to anybody. But come on, let's be honest. The show's not going to make it out before Sci-Fi Horror Fest. So,
yeah,
probably not.
Well.
But that's what's got me geeked is all of the busyness going on in August for me. Just it's constantly go. So. I'm most excited about checking out Salem for the first time. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
You have to eat at that restaurant I told you to.
Yes, that's on the list. Okay, so, but since we're running short on time here, I think it's a perfect time to roll right into Kev's tabletop review.
Okay, and this week I've got a fun one for you, and it's a game genre and enterprise property that I know several of our Geek Pod members will really, really like. So this week I have for you Assassin's Creed Arena, the board game. Now, this has been out since 2014, and the board is designed as kind of a grid. Picture a town that just has towers, all these towers. And as the assassin, or as actually you're not assassins, you're not monks, you're something else. It's what's some of the other kind of characters in Assassin's Creed? Templars, you're Templars. You're Templars in the game. And your job is to get up to 15 points, right? Before you run out of these action cards. So every hand you have to, or every person that plays, you have to draw one of these action cards, and it determines what's going on in that hand. So you move around the board based on the cards that are drawn and based on the cards you have in your hand, the abilities that you have, and you take out targets, or you reveal targets, or you hide, and that is how you gain these points. Sometimes you have to carry treasure back to your original starting point in order to get those points, but you have to figure this out as you go. I'll read you a little bit about the game. Let's see. What do they say? In Assassin's Creed Arena, based on the Assassin's Creed video game series from Ubisoft, players compete to uncover the best targets for assassination. But before you can go in for the kill, sometimes you have to deal with pesky guards, as well as your opponents. Players will collect cards and treasure, move guards, and hide within the city of Constantinople until they find their time to strike. Combat is handled through card play, and the player who best manages his cards, or her cards, will have the best chance at victory. I watched a playthrough. Oh, sorry, I hit my mic. I watched a playthrough by a group, and boy, these guys, they were a lot of fun. The Boardroom is the name of their group. How cool. What a great name for the place where you go to play board games. The Boardroom. Come on. So cool. Anyway, they had 2-part video. It was fun. They had 2-part video, and they went through the gameplay, and it was probably one of the best gameplays I've seen. Definitely watch it. It's linked on BoardGameGeek.com, or just look it up on YouTube. Just a really, really great playthrough. Again, there's a board, right? You have these little standoffs that are your characters. You have the token pieces that are the targets, and they, as you flip them over, it reveals what the target is. Sometimes it's treasure, sometimes it's somebody you have to kill. You have to avoid the guards, and you have to move around the city. So it's very you have to think ahead, you have to plan, and it's a fun game. Let me do the stats. 2 to 4 players, according to BoardGameGeek.com. The community 2 to 4, best 2 to 3. 30-minute playtime, age 15 plus. Community says 8 plus. Here we go. Here's the weight. 1.71 out of 5 for a complexity rating. So you don't really have to know what Assassin's Creed is to play this game and enjoy it. That's what I got out of it. I think if you know the game, if you appreciate the game, and you understand the mechanics of the video game and of the different players you would use in the game, I think you'll get more out of this. But it just looked like it'd be a lot of fun. Easy setup, easy to play, easy to learn. Category is video game theme, mechanism, hand management, pick up and deliver, right? Because you got to pick up your treasure, and you have to get it back to your starting point in order for you to collect those points to win the game. And that's about all they have here. I'll go through some of the prices. If you use some of the stores that are available on BoardGameGeek.com, you can get the game for as little as $15. It goes up to as high as $40. And I found it on Amazon for a whopping $77.77.
A lot of sevens.
It's been out since 2014. Well, it's down from $85. It's been out since 2014. My guess is that they stopped printing it, so there's limited numbers out there, and it is what it is. Well, like I said, if you are a fan of Assassin's Creed and you want to engage some other folks in the world, this might be the way to do it. You can share your love of the game with some friends or some family, or maybe your friends are your family, or maybe your family are your friends. I don't know. I don't have that. But Assassin's Creed Arena, the board game. Look it up on BoardGameGeek.com.
That's funny that it was an Assassin's Creed game because Paul, I don't know if you realize this, we skipped the Players Club.
Yes,
We did. Because, shit got weird.
Yeah. But I was going to bring up, and this ties into what you're saying, over my trip on the way there and back, I started playing the first Assassin's Creed game on my Steam Deck. And that's interesting. I'm not going to get into that. It's a fucking 20-year-old game or whatever. The other interesting news, though, I was accepted into the beta test for Assassin's Creed Codename Jade, which is a mobile game. There is going to be an NDA. They have not provided that for me to sign yet. I also haven't actually played the game because it doesn't go live until tomorrow. So I'm pretty sure I can say whatever I want. Once this gets rolling, I may not be able to talk about it in very detailed terms, but once the terms of the NDA expire, I'm definitely going to talk about it on the show because this looks like it's going to be a fully functional Assassin's Creed mobile game. Just insane. Just the download size itself was huge. This is like a real video game release. So I'm really excited. Can't wait to share it with you guys when they let me.
Right. Very cool. And on that note, I think we're going to throw it to commercial. Stick with us, guys. We'll be back with the news.
Sci-Fi Horror Fest is coming August 25th and 26th at the Vernon Downs Convention Center in Vernon, New York. Event hours Friday 3 p.m. until 9 p.m. Saturday 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. Heroes and Villains After Party for VIP ticket holders Friday night from 9:30 until 12:30 a.m. Sci-Fi Horror Fest is a 2-day genre event with the greatest collection of vendors, celebrities, and unique attractions in upstate New York. Get your tickets today at www.sci-fi-horrorfest.com.
Hi, this is Craig Palmer. If you ever aspire to be a wrestler, come on down to Upstate Wrestling Entertainment, located at 1121 Glenwood Ave in United, New York. We're open every Tuesday and Thursday from 6:30 p.m. until 9 p.m. Come on down and join us. See you then.
Looking for the hottest new comic on the shelf or a keyback issue to complete your run? How about that rare statue or action figure that you've scoured the internet looking for? Come to Collectibles Galore, located in North Syracuse with ample off-street parking. Collectibles Galore has a huge selection of comics, toys, and rare pop culture items you won't find anywhere else. Comics Galore is always buying comics and toys and will give you the fairest price for your collection. New customers get 15% off their first purchase in store. Collectibles Galore for all of your pop culture needs. Stop in and see for yourself why Collectibles Galore is the king of comics.
Now, before you assume Mitch McConnell glitching out and freezing last week means he got temporarily disconnected from the Matrix, remember, he could be a robot and Windows forced an update. Here's the news. First up, leprosy is back. Back again. Leper's back. Wash your hands. A new report claims that leprosy has made a comeback and may be endemic to Florida. Yes, Florida. Of course it's Florida. Also known as Hansen's disease, named after the boy band, Central Florida accounts for 1/5 of the new cases reported in 2020. Because what Florida needs is an ancient disease all but eradicated in the modern world. At least this outbreak is not related to vaccine fears or really anything to do with Floridians themselves. Scientists aren't 100% sure how leprosy spreads, but don't think it's related to hygiene. So unlike many other problems that they create for themselves, this one's a mystery. I just wonder how long it's going to be before Governor Ron DeSantis comes out and claims that those affected with leprosy are gaining valuable experience for the rest of their life. Next up, a few good green men. Last week, several members of the military told House lawmakers about their experiences with UAPs, or unidentified aerial phenomenon. That's the new term for UFOs that lends the dignity to the subject in the same way that using fancy words makes you sound smarter. The media billed this as a historic event, and what we got was, well, not much. They gave details on their accounts, but were not able to provide anything beyond that, no real evidence. Not that I expected them to walk Marvin the Martian into the room, but we really aren't in a different place than we were before we started. Guys claim UFOs without proof. The House wants to organize a select committee to investigate this, and it feels like they think the executive branch needs to be more transparent with the public about what's in the skies above us. Now, not that I don't desperately want to know more about UFOs. I feel like this is a dog and pony show. The government shouldn't be hiding UAP information, but don't ask me where my campaign funds come from. How dare you? Seems like our lawmakers have more pressing matters at hand. When the lizard people come to take over, I am sure we will all see the giant ships over our major cities. Just imagine if they show up and say, hey, we left one of our people here to watch over your planet. His name was Jesus. Has anyone seen him? I mean, either way, when the aliens do show up, I can't wait to watch Religions of the World scramble to somehow retroactively add extraterrestrial life to their fairy stories. And finally, pronouns are they/themyscira. Gal Gadot announced that she is developing Wonder Woman 3 with James Gunn and Peter Safran. This is surprising since many characters in the DCEU are being recast under the new leadership. It's good news since while there were both good and bad things about the Snyderverse, Gadot's casting as Wonder Woman was pretty much beyond reproach. It's hard to imagine anyone else in the role at this point. Now I'm just waiting for next week when Gunn will announce Jennifer Holland as Wonder Woman, and Gadot will be playing a multiverse version who will pass on the mantle and die crashing her invisible jet into General Zod's ship, while Michael Shannon looks on even more confused as to why he's playing this fucking character again. And that's the news, kids. Now, remember, Twitter is now X, and if you pay monthly to have your verified blue check mark, you can also now hide that check mark as long as you're a paid user. So you can pay Twitter to have a check mark, or pay them to not have a check mark, which is the same as not paying for a check mark. Wait, what? I can see X-Bros saying, I pay for it, but I hide it because I don't like the attention. And then they will tell everyone as often as they can to avoid the attention. Paul?
In other news, cotton candy was invented by a dentist.
Of course it was.
Back to you, Corbs.
Isn't all candy created by a dentist?
Probably. Or the Lizard Elite. One of the two.
Either that or, Willy Wonka.
None of what you guys said was remotely true, just so you know. Throwing that out there.
Wait, so basically if we boil it down, Wonka is a Lizard Elite?
No.
That motherfucker is not real.
With his gobstopper and his Oompa Loompas.
Make fun of the Oompa Loompas.
Yeah, you can't make fun of little people anymore. Jeez.
You just said
What
it. I
the
thought it. I didn't say it.
Let's do some midget tossing.
They're fun to go bowling with.
Go bowling.
Oh my god.
And now
There goes our vertically challenged audience.
Are you
Come
going to talk about
on!
Are you talking about
It's all
midget tossing
fun.
in your sports segment now, Corbs?
Yes. Yep. All right, so I guess the main thing this week for sports would have been MLB trade deadline. Not that anybody gives a flying shit, but because I really don't. But so the Mets and the White Sox both decided that they were out of it, raised their white flags, and traded away just about everybody. Mets traded away Justin Verlander, who they just signed in the offseason to a 3 years, $80-something million contract. And where do they trade him to? Houston. Where was he last year? Houston. So they, in essence, signed him for 6 months and then traded him back to the same team that he was on before and are going to pay $25 million of his salary just to get rid of him.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's great. The Mets
he
also
bad?
traded away. What's that?
Is he bad?
No. The
No,
Mets
it's
are
just
bad.
stupid. It's
The
stupid
Mets,
by
are,
the
the
Mets.
Mets are bad. That's all it is. It's not nothing to do with the pitcher. They also traded away their top pitcher in Max Scherzer. They traded him to the Texas Rangers. They did get a couple of good players in return for him, but still, I mean, this guy's a workhorse. Don't know why. I mean, and of course the Mets are saying, "Oh, we're not giving up." No,
You already
really just
did. Yeah.
you just gave up by giving away your top 2 players who were supposed to be able to take you to the promised land. They traded away a couple outfielders too. One to a division rival, one to the Brewers. Kind of insignificant trades. The White Sox, my team, they definitely raised the white flag and said, we are done. They traded away their top 2 pitchers. They traded away Lucas Giolito to the Angels, along with Ronaldo Lopez, he was a reliever for the White Sox. They traded away Lance Lynn and Joe Kelly, their top setup man, to the Dodgers. So that's kind of a big deal. The Dodgers are kind of hanging on. They're like in the wild card race or something. I don't know where they are, but they're close. The White Sox also traded their top setup man back to the Astros, where he was last year. Actually, 2 years ago, he was there. The Mets also traded away their closer to the Marlins, who's in their division. Those are some of the big ones. And then the Cardinals got lucky, or not the Blue Jays got lucky. They traded for the Cardinals shortstop, Paul DeJong, the same day that their shortstop hurt his knee. So their top, and he's their top player. It's Bo Bichette. He got hurt. No, Bo Bichette Jr., not Bo Bichette. Get it right, Paul. It's his son.
Wait. Yeah, that's where I was going with it. I thought they were all clones.
They're all clones. So yeah, Bo Bichette and his son is Bo Bichette Jr. and not Boba Fett.
Bless you.
So yeah, they traded away for the Cardinal
That's
shortstop.
spotted.
So they kind of got lucky in that instance, by picking up a shortstop, like literally like 20 minutes just before he got hurt. It was something like I think they were gonna trade for him and have him move to second base, and then this guy got hurt, so they picked up a shortstop without even knowing they needed a shortstop, which is kind of cool, I guess. Not for Bo, I guess, because he's hurt. Training camp started this week for I think most teams. Jack, is that right? Is it this week?
That's correct. Yeah, the
So-
Chiefs have been in like 9 already practices already, which is weird.
Yeah. So, I mean, Joe Burrow signed. Is it Justin Herbert? He signed his new contract in the offseason. So they were talking about that today on SportsCenter about what he needs to do to get over the hump and all that stuff. I didn't watch it, but I mean, you got some big signings and stuff like that. Delvin Cook still hasn't signed. Ezekiel Elliott's still not signed for the running backs. Running backs, unfortunately, I think are a dime a dozen. We talked about this last week. The whole running backs just not being easily replaced, I guess, is what we're saying. That's what I'm saying. What else? Oh, Brownie. I guess we talked about that last week too. He's out. He's doing better. He's home resting. They're not sure if he's going to go back and join USC. He had a cardiac arrest, which I found an article that's actually different than actually a heart attack. It's not a heart attack. So it's weird. A cardiac arrest is basically when the heart stops beating and no longer pumps blood.
Ah.
The rest of the body is deprived of oxygen, which causes a loss of consciousness. A heart attack is, on the other hand, is where the heart muscle itself does not get enough blood. So that's the difference, if you can understand the difference, I guess. So But yeah, like I said, he's home. He's doing better. They're not sure. Like I said, not sure if he's going to go back and join USC right away. I'm assuming he'll go back at some point. And I found out that it's actually kind of common. It happens to about 800,000 people a year, this cardiac arrest, and 1 in 5,000 athletes have a chance of this happening to them, which is kind of odd. I mean, you don't hear about it all that much, but now you're hearing about it a little bit more, I guess. So like I said, I found an article just recently about that. So I was just kind of reading through it. But I assumed it was kind of a heart attack that he had, but it wasn't. So, which I guess is different. And they're able to, obviously able to get it started again and all that stuff. And he thinks it's doing better. So again, everybody wishes him the best and hope to God that he's obviously functioning and whatnot. So, but we'll see about him getting back on the court. I'd love to see him get back on the court. But again, now it's more of life as opposed to basketball. Is he going to be able to live a normal life and whatnot? So, I mean, other than that, I mean, I don't got much else for sports.
That just sounds like reasons not to engage in physical activity.
Right.
The risk of cardiac arrest.
Same
Agreed.
reason why I don't go to the gym.
That's the only reason you don't go to the gym?
I'm lazy.
Okay. And then I guess the big thing is SummerSlam,
Yes.
which is this weekend.
I can't talk wrestling this week because I'm not caught up because I'm gone. So I have no idea
Yeah.
what happened.
That's all right.
You taping AEW, Paul?
Yes, I am. Episode
Okay.
200 of Dynamite tonight.
Dynamite.
And this episode 200?
Yes.
I didn't see the beginning part. I didn't see the beginning of it. So
I know it was already spoiled for me on Facebook, and I won't do it to you guys, but I know there was already something big that happened.
I know
Somebody
something
made
that
an
happened.
appearance.
Yep. Okay, and then I know what you're talking about. I did see
Okay.
that. I actually watched that.
Nice. I wish I would have been able to see that.
It was nice.
Live.
I was actually pretty happy that happened. I'm a big fan of the guy that came out.
Yes.
I always
Hulk Hogan?
Yes.
Yeah, Terry Bolivia.
No, it was Rowdy Piper. He was there.
It's a good trick.
Teal dug him up, threw him into the ring.
I saw a video of Hogan wrestling in Japan back in, I don't know, the 80s or whatever, with him doing enziguris and doing
Whole
all this
different
technical
Hogan. Yes.
Whoa.
I've seen that video. I know what you're talking about. It's yeah. He really can do more than just a leg drop and hulking out.
So was that before he had the 24-inch pythons?
No, he had them, but it's he did a tour of Japan for a little while.
Yeah, there was
Vince's thumb. Yeah.
Yeah, there was, because I think Vince wanted something from him and he told Vince
sure.
to go fuck himself or whatever. And he's like, I'm not gonna sign.
I think
it
that's
or
what
whatever.
Vince wanted from him. Yeah.
Vince probably wanted him to bend over. Like he wants everybody else to do.
Vince does like blondes.
It's true. It's damn true.
All right, let's keep this thing rolling. Let's move it right along to Jack's trivia time of the week, story time, whatever we're fucking.
You're never gonna
it
get this
anymore.
right, are you?
No, and I'm the one that fucking designed the fucking opening for it. So
I
take it
know.
away.
All right, Hugh, you were off last week. Pick a number between 1 and 4.
It's gonna be 2.
What popular drink was originally invented as an ice cream topping? What popular drink was originally invented as an ice cream topping? Believe it or not, I knew all 4 of these trivia questions. I don't know why I knew them, but I knew these.
Mountain Dew.
No. Mountain Dew was actually an answer to a question a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
Yes.
that's right.
From an episode that
Um,
just was released 5 minutes ago.
Yes.
Dr. Pepper.
No,
I have no idea.
Yoo-hoo.
no. And that's just chocolate and water. Chocolate
It's
syrup
not
and water.
It's
A lot more
Same-
water than chocolate.
A&W root beer.
No. What did you say, Corbs?
I said, yeah, that's not a soft. Yoo-hoo's not a soft drink.
No, it's not a soft drink. It's a soft drink, though. But,
It's a
yeah,
soft.
I'm gonna say
No, it's-
something like I like.
it's not it's not a soft drink. It's a popular drink, so it's a popular drink.
popular drink. Oh, it makes things different.
Do you want to take a
Ice
guess? or
cream
we-
topping.
yeah. I know you're gonna be like, oh, okay, I guess that makes sense. But yeah, it's like
No.
the
No. I'm
Doesn't
done.
make any sense.
I want to say like
Uh,
Nestle Quick or something like that.
Hawaiian punch.
Is it an ice cream
Wow.
topping?
Yeah, the red
No.
flavoring. Yeah. All right, Kev. 1, 3, or 4.
4.
What is the most grown crop in the United States? What is the most grown crop?
It's either corn or soybeans. I don't think it's wheat.
Not yet.
I was about to say
No,
not yet. Yeah, we will
I'm-
be eventually.
I'm gonna say corn.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Finally going with his gut. He got one right. Good job, buddy.
I would have thought it was soy, honestly.
I would have thought it was corn too. So
Yeah.
Soy is up and coming. I mean,
It is.
because farmers, what they'll do is they'll plant corn one year and soy the next,
Yep.
because that's how they rotate the
Bumper crops.
fields.
Yes.
Well,
Right.
they rotate the field. So
Kev, good job going with your gut, though. I'm proud of you. So
Wow, nothing like cutting the man off. Look at that.
seriously.
He's like, done.
I'm so proud of you. I'm not going to let you talk.
nope. All right, Paul.
3.
How many time zones are in the United States, Mr. Traveler? How many time zones are in the United States?
I know for sure there's at least 3. So I'm going to say 5.
No. No.
Is it 3?
No. Exactly. I knew you were going with that.
37.
No.
5 is wrong.
5 is wrong.
Then it must be 4.
And it's
No.
not 4. And it's not
6.
3.
It's not 6. How could it be 6?
No one said it was. What is it, Jack? 'Cause
Well,
we don't have a fucking
6.
clue.
It's 6. It's 6.
Yeah, how though?
How?
What are
what's-
they?
So I think it's like the Eastern, Midwest. I think you're thinking Alaska and Hawaii have one too.
Oh.
Pacific. And then
But
mountain time. Mountain time.
So
Yeah.
you got Eastern.
Mid, Mountain, Pacific, Alaska, and Hawaii.
Oh,
Okay.
All right. Corbs.
Are you really going to make
And
him say
what-
number 1?
Yeah. Say number 1, buddy. There you go. That's what I wanted. In what country did fireworks originate from?
Japan.
No.
You're close, though.
It's
You are-
Japan or China.
But you already said Japan, so let's go to another person.
China.
China is right.
I knew it was over there.
Why did I
Okay.
know that?
Paul was right. There is really only 5 time zones, even though
Oh,
no, there is,
No, he,
Okay.
because two
Go
of
ahead.
them have the same time. They have different names, but the same time.
Oh,
Pacific and Mountain are identical,
I learned something new today. Good
except
job.
for when it's not. What do they call it?
Daylight savings
Daylight
time.
savings.
Daylight savings.
Yeah.
Daylight savings.
Okay. Very good. So real quick, in 1776, the formal signing of the Declaration of Independence was done. In 1909, the first US penny was released. And in 1999, Bruce Willis and Haley Joel Osment had The Sixth Sense come out. And then
Great
also,
movie.
yeah, right. 28
Fuck
years
yeah.
old, Christoph Porzingis, the NBA basketball player. Austin Theory is 26 today, WWE wrestler. And for Paul,
you better.
actor and director Kevin Smith is 53 today.
Today,
Today.
as
And
you
then-
record,
August
The
2nd.
second,
Yes.
the 2nd of
August
August.
2nd.
Wow.
And then also, Hugh, for your news segment, let's pay a moment of silence for Pee Wee Herman. You said the word. He passed away at 70 years old of cancer the other
After
day.
a 6-year battle with cancer. Yes.
That
Yep.
he didn't. You know, do you ever watch something on him on the news the other day? You know, he never told anybody he had cancer.
No,
He never
kept it to
did.
Kept it quiet.
himself.
never revealed it.
Never revealed it. Even his close friends didn't know he had it.
Poor guy.
And now he's off to that giant playhouse in the sky.
Or adult theater in the sky.
Come on, that was one time.
Then he
That
got
we know
caught.
That's all that counts.
He only got caught once.
All right. Let me look at the show notes.
Weekly
So
topic, or your
that's right. Yes, it's time for me to tell you guys the weekly topic.
Okay.
Oh, look at that perfect timing.
Quick,
If you
quick.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
I didn't even hear what you said. We were
he just
talking
keeps
over
cutting
each
you off. That's all.
If you had to give advice to your 12-year-old self, what would you tell yourself?
Oh my god.
One
I
piece of
got it.
advice.
I got it.
I already know mine.
I got it.
And the fellas will tell you that when we come back. Stick with us, guys.
Hi, this is Craig Palmer. If you ever aspire to be a wrestler, come on down to Upstate Wrestling Entertainment, located at 1121 Glenwood Avenue in United, New York. We're open every Tuesday and Thursday from 6:30 p.m. until 9 p.m. Come on down and join us. See you then.
Looking for the hottest new comic on the shelf or a key back issue to complete your run? How about that rare statue or action figure that you've scoured the internet looking for? Come to Collectibles Galore. Located in North Syracuse with ample off-street parking, Collectibles Galore has a huge selection of comics, toys, and rare pop culture items you won't find anywhere else. Comics Galore is always buying comics and toys and will give you the fairest price for your collection. New customers get 15% off their first purchase in store. Collectibles Galore for all of your pop culture needs. Stop in and see for yourself why Collectibles Galore is the king of comics. Sci-Fi Horror Fest is coming! August 25th and 26th at the Vernon Downs Convention Center in Vernon, New York. Event hours Friday 3 p.m. until 9 p.m. Saturday 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. Heroes and Villains After Party for VIP ticket holders Friday night from 9:30 until 12:30 a.m. Sci-Fi Horror Fest is a 2-day genre event with the greatest collection of vendors, celebrities, and unique attractions in upstate New York. Get your tickets today at www.sci-fi-horrorfest.com.
And that music means it's time for the weekly topic. Let me reiterate. If you had to give advice to your 12-year-old self, what one piece of advice would you give? Hit it.
All right. Oh,
Go ahead,
Ted.
Hugh. Go.
All right.
Okay. All right. Mine's super. Go. You go first. You go first. Mine's easy.
Jesus. All right. I was weighing quite a few. I was thinking, buy Apple stock. I was also thinking, a little more esoteric. Nothing is true, everything is permitted, but my 12-year-old self wouldn't understand that. So I guess the best advice I could give my 12-year-old self is learn to fix cars.
Very good advice. Makes you much more self-reliant.
You always will be able to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Decent, good money too. So
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kevin, you going next?
Well, Hugh pretty well hit it already. I would just tell him to. Initially, I wrote down by Microsoft, but I added by Microsoft and Apple, because I mean, at 12, that would have put me right in that sweet spot of right before Microsoft went public, and I think that would have been the time to invest every single dollar I made at Eddie's Big M. At the age of 14, it wasn't 12. I was 2 years later. But Eddie's Big M in Mexico, New York. So that would have been a great place to put it instead of into comic books.
Wait, you worked for the Big M too?
Oh yeah,
Big M Bros. I worked in the one in Jordan.
that was the only employer in town. Everybody in Mexico worked for the Big M.
All right. Which one of the Corbs twins wanted to go for next?
I'll go, Corbs. You think about it. So, if I could give my 12-year-old self some advice. So I know that always in school there's always those cliques, like the popular, the jocks, there's always different cliques. Just like we all know about it now because we're older now because we don't give a fuck. So literally, your 12-year-old self, you're always thinking it's like, oh my god, am I fitting in? Am I getting what's going on? Oh my god, I'm like, chill the fuck down. It's gonna
nothing
be fine.
before 30 matters.
Exactly. just be your fucking self and you'll be all right. Like literally, I remember I was 12 years old and we had carnations we could buy the girls and I had a crush. Yeah. And I literally went back and forth, like from her table. Like, I did not know what to do. She's like, Jack, just give me the carnation. I'm like, oh, okay, here you go. So it's like, calm down. You're going to be fine. Just chill. Just be yourself. Because like when you're 12, you don't know that at that time. If you had this confidence when you were 12, it would be different. But it's like, just be okay. You'll be fine.
I
just be
get
okay.
in every fight I avoided. Every single one.
Every single one.
Nice. Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Just be yourself. That's basically what I got to say.
Bitches be crazy.
Bitches be crazy for sure. All right, go ahead, twin brother.
Still be crazy.
Corbs.
Yeah.
Corbs.
Well, for me, it's twofold. I would tell my 12-year-old, or I can't remember, a little bit older, when I was in 9th grade, to actually study and do the schoolwork.
Do the work.
Yeah,
do the fucking work.
Yeah, well, that was the year I came to my parents and told them I was taking the year off from school. I wasn't dropping out of school, but I was taking the year off. I was going to do just enough to get by.
I'll be there. I ain't doing shit.
That's exactly what I told him. I said, I'm going to school, but I'm just doing just enough to get by. And I did just that. And I fucked myself in the long run by doing that.
There's a whole market for that too, I think. You could.
Yeah, there is a whole market for that. And then the other one I would tell myself is in the same year when I went and tried out for baseball that year, the head coach for the JV team asked me to switch positions and I told him no. And I regret doing that. He wanted me to switch from first base to catcher. And I told him that I didn't want to be a catcher. But in hindsight, it was the best way to get where I wanted to be. And I should have taken that opportunity when I had the chance, and I didn't. So.
Face down, biting the pillow?
No, I'm in that position every night.
Well, I just learned way more about Kelly than I wanted to know.
I was just going to say something similar.
But I mean, good on you for being an open-minded man in the year 2023.
All right,
you're wrong with that.
So Corbs' statement.
Wait. If you're If you're gonna
Face
tell me something about that
down.
is what you're gonna tell your
Yes,
12-year-old self?
Hitting
I don't
the
want to know it, buddy.
pillow.
Okay, just leave that to yourself.
No, just between what he said and Hugh's affirmation leads into what mine was, and that is other
Really?
people's opinions don't matter. Because
No.
again, I was the kid that avoided fights and everything. Even though I was bigger than everybody, I still avoided the fights. I didn't want to make waves. I was very self-conscious, which is funny because now I'm the fucking egomaniac of the show. But
Yeah.
I was not that guy growing up, weaving my way through fucking Jordan Elbridge junior senior high school. Until I hit the epiphany my sophomore year that fuck these fucking fuckers. Like, they don't matter. And then I became a fucking terror in the school. But that's a whole different story for the Patreon we don't have. But yes, people's opinions don't matter.
Nope.
So you want to bite that pillow, Corbs, you fucking bite that pillow.
Every night.
And you go catch.
Ironically, it's the same statement.
Right.
I'm just wondering how no one has made the Ren and Stimpy joke, but okay.
Hit us
Happy
with it
joy,
then. 'Cause
joy, happy joy, joy.
No. Remember
know,
when they brought it, when they brought Ren and Stimpy back, but they brought it back as an adult show instead of a kid show, and like the very first episode ended with them under a blanket with one of them going, "You're, I'm the pitcher, you're the catcher. I'm the pitcher, you're the catcher, whatever." And I was just like, "What the fuck?" Mind you, we've talked about I didn't have cable. I'd never seen the original Ren and Stimpy, so when they brought it back, I think Spike TV did it. I was like, "Ooh, I never got to watch this." And then I was like,
You're
"Holy
like-
shit, this was a kid show."
I remember my mom got pissed at us. We would watch it always after church on Sundays. My mom like, "You're not watching that filth." I'm like, "Fuck you, we're watching this."
she was right.
It was filth.
Yeah, but it was funny, Phil.
It was.
Did everybody get theirs?
Yes, everybody
all
got
right, all right.
in. So let's keep it moving. Right into the midstream report. Guys, what you watching?
Mm-hmm.
Justified, City Primeval, Timothy Oliphant. So
Look at you're going back 2 weeks there.
I know. So still geeked out about the show. Like I said, I watched the original Justified. I got to binge it, but now I have to watch week by week. But such a great show. Getting better and better. Hopefully they have a second season because there's only 8 episodes this season. Really good show. Corbs, you'll like this one. Finally got around to watch. So I'll always be watching Star Wars movies, Karate Kid movies, and Rocky movies. I finally watched Creed 3.
Okay.
Creed 3 was not bad. I get it. It's more of the same, but Michael B. Jordan directed this one, which I thought was cool.
You did.
Jonathan, what's his name again?
Majors.
Yeah, he was in it.
Yeah.
But the way this movie was shot was really cool. So I thought like the camera work was really well done for it, the camera angles. It was kind of cool seeing in Creed 3 Drago's son. They respect each other now, so I thought that was kind of neat. So of course this was the first one Stallone wasn't in. So he did all the Rocky movies. He did Creed 1 and 2, but he didn't do Creed 3. So
And you know why he didn't do it, right? He wants it to be it's separate. He doesn't want it to be Rocky to be associated with Creed. He wants it to be separate.
Because I think the first plot for Creed 3 was Clubber Lane's son. I'm like, come on now. Yeah. So I was like, come on, don't do that.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Creed 1 he was supposed to face Clubber Lane's son. Second one, he was supposed to face Drago's son.
Right.
And then I think the last one, I can't remember this one here. I think it was supposed to be
He beats up Rocky because it's always fun to beat an old man.
No, but like, yeah, it was his childhood friend. But like, so there is gonna be a Creed 4, but like,
is that going to address his childhood friend's penchant for beating up women, or
I don't know.
That's
but
actually the case.
But it is cool though. Like literally after you watch like these Rocky or Creed movies, I've always had the motion because like you always want to work out. It's like, oh, that's so cool. Like I've always wanted to, like, it's just so motivating watching them. Because I remember Rocky 4, my mom, like when you could record on a VHS tape, he's like going up the mountains and all that, and he's going to say Drago and all that. I remember watching that on repeat all over and over again. So I was like, okay, here comes the scene. And he goes up to go to the mountain. It goes right to a soap opera. My mom DVR'd, like, not DVR, she videotaped over the Rocky scene. I'm like, Mom, she's like, sorry, I needed a VHS tape. I'm like, God damn it. So, so basically Justified and Creed 3 I watched this week.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll go. I watched Insidious: The Red Door today. That unexpectedly came to be available for rent yesterday, and video on demand platforms, which wasn't expected because just like the day earlier, they announced that it was the highest grossing film in the franchise
Nice.
so far. And then the next day it's been out for like 2 weeks. I'm like, they must plan this shit now. Like, cause I'm sure that they plan stuff, but they must, like, the day the movie comes out in theaters, they must have all the technical stuff set up to just press a button and release the home video. Cause goddamn, it happened so fast. I just can't believe that it hit home that quickly. Decent movie. It was a good closing chapter to the trilogy. Did they leave the door open? Not entirely sure. I think it's probably done. But it was good. I enjoyed it. The other thing, though, I'm even more excited about is Heels is back. The first episode was fantastic.
Haven't watched it
And
yet, but
if you're not watching Heels, you need to watch Heels.
I have a DVR. I just haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
I need
Yeah.
stars. That's my problem.
So that's all I got.
Corbs.
All right, where did I get up to last week before my shit cut out?
Oh, your face. I forgot.
I forgot about
Yeah.
that too.
So
You
I
want me to try-
know I was talking about the Mayans.
Yes, I believe
finished
that's where
watching
you were.
that. They literally just killed everybody. I mean,
That's what you were telling us. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, literally, they killed Easy, was the main character. His brother got out. The other antagonist, the guy who ran the cartel, his wife killed him, and then killed his bodyguard, and made it look like a
Murder suicide.
murder-suicide, like a lover's spat. Yeah, it was wild. They basically killed off the entire club when the ETF came in, broke in at the very end. You hear a bunch of gunshots. So that basically the group that was in Sons of Anarchy, that was their main antagonist, and then they became allies.
Mm-hmm.
They became antagonists again, and at the end, that club was completely wiped out. The Mayans, San Pedro, Santa Padre, their club got completely wiped out by the ETF. What else? I watched a bunch of stuff. I watched Mother on Netflix. I think I talked.
How was that? Honestly, how was that?
I liked it. It's different. Jennifer Lopez was good in it. But
The effects didn't look like they were all that good.
the effects aren't that great. It's basically kind of looks like was kind of done in a hurry. But it wasn't bad. I mean, for being on Netflix and being a Netflix movie, it's okay. I don't know if it's worth a watch. I saw it and was like, oh, I want to see this because I saw something. I watched like Shotgun Wedding with her in it, which I thought was pretty good. This one again wasn't as great. Like I said, I don't know if I would even recommend it as a watch. I think I was just like, oh, I saw this, I want to watch it. I did watch something else on Netflix. It's called Muscles and Mayhem. It's about the American Gladiators.
Oh my god.
Porn.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole show, how it got created, and then how it grew, and then just died off all of a sudden. And they go through the whole thing. How it started out. It started out with, I think, 5 or 6 gladiators, and then they added a couple more. Like they would add gladiators, and then guys would get hurt. And once you got hurt, you were done. Like they cut you, and you didn't get paid. You're out the door. No benefits, no nothing. Like these guys signed the worst. These gladiators signed the worst contract you could ever sign. And then when they held out to get more money and get the rights, because they were making merchandise, lunch pails, action figures, all this stuff.
There were toys. Yeah.
And they were getting none of that profit. They got nothing. They basically got like $1,000 a week when they were performing. So if they didn't perform, if they got hurt and weren't performing, they didn't get paid. and they had no medical. So when they got hurt, they basically had to continue to work hurt. So if they heard something, they continued to perform and do all this stuff hurt. And then when the main cast or the main group of gladiators held out for more money, they fired them all and brought in new guys. And that's when it just nosedived. And right after they cut all like the main gladiators, because they held out because they realized the contract they signed, they weren't getting anything, and they weren't getting any of the merchandise profits. They weren't getting even 1/10 of anything. They got nothing, and they were making millions of dollars. So they got nothing. So they were like, well, we're going to hold out and try to get something out of this. And they were like, the Sam Goldwyn, I think it was Goldwyn Productions was making it. He basically was like, well, you're replaceable. So
Yep.
they cut them all. They fired them all, like literally, and they didn't bring them in and tell them they were fired. Like they just didn't tell them. They just didn't tell them when to report. And when they called up and said, "What's going on? How come we haven't?" Oh, you were fired. And that was it. No, they didn't bring you into the office and fire you. Like you would get fired at a normal job. It was literally, they didn't say report to production on August 1st. It was just, you called on August 1st and said, when are we starting production? They said, well, we already started and you've been fired. And you get nothing on top of that. So that was pretty interesting. I have to admit, I looked at it and I was like, oh, I remember the American Gladiators. So I started watching it just on the shit chance that it was good, and it really was. So that I would recommend watching if you watched American Gladiators and you like the American Gladiators TV show. I mean, it goes through everything. I mean, how these guys went from basically nothing. I mean, they were doing steroids, and they weren't supposed to be. They were drinking, doing drugs and all that stuff that they weren't supposed to be doing. They talk about the stuff that they were doing, the steroids that they were using and stuff like that, and how they got around it when they tested. So it's not like testing nowadays where they show up and they test. They called you and said, you're going to be tested in 60 days.
Mm-hmm.
You had a chance to get that out of your system. So that's how they beat this. That's how they beat the system. They were giving them ample notice when they were going to be tested. So they stopped taking the steroids at that time, got it out of their system.
Yep. Flush the system.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they were clean. And then once they were clean, they started using it again. So, and you can see the difference. Like they show the difference from the guy started to the second season, from the second season to the third season. And then during, I think, the third and fourth season, they took the show on the road. They did like 100
like arena tours.
Yeah, they did like 120 arenas in like 160 days or something like that. I mean, it was
trying to kill these guys.
Yeah, basically what they were doing. And these guys, so that's when they, the first 25, 30, 40 shows, these guys were all performing, and then they started getting hurt, and they're like, we need other gladiators. So then they brought in like
the new guys,
and then they brought in more people. And then when these guys held out, they're like, well, we don't need you anymore. We have a surplus now.
Yeah, we have Laser and
Blazer.
Blazer. Pillow biter.
And Larry Zonka as well.
Pillow biter.
So that was, like I said, that was pretty good. Tried to catch up on Dead City. Still 2 episodes behind on that.
I think we're at the same spot then, because I think I'm at episode 4. We just finished episode 4 the other night.
Yeah, I got 5 and 6 I still got to watch. So
yeah, same.
So, but what else did I watch? I think that's about it. So,
well, I got a couple.
Go for it, Kev.
The wife is deeply, deeply, deeply embedded in Rebels. She's well into season 2. They just revealed who Fulcrum is. I had it wrong. I really made a mistake. I watched Rebels before I watched Clone Wars. I didn't realize how much I missed in Rebels by not watching Clone Wars first. I'm watching as much as I can with her through Rebels, and I'm just like, wow. Wow. It's really, really good. If you haven't watched Clone Wars, do it.
Me.
Then watch Rebels right directly after. In fact, if you really want to do it right, watch Clone Wars, then
Episode 3.
well, episode 3, but episode 3 during the last season, season 7 of Clone Wars. You'll know where to watch it because you'll get to a point where you're like, oh, I got to stop here and watch episode 3. And you do that, and then you go back to Clone Wars. So it's not before season 7, it's in the middle or
In the
kinda,
midst. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the last 4 episodes of season 7.
Yeah. But definitely do that. And then watch Bad Batch, right? Because Bad Batch happens before, well before Rebels. Because the very beginning of Bad Batch matters to the end of Rebels. Not going to say anything more than that. If you haven't watched it, then I'm not going to spoil it for you. But if you have watched it, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Well played, Kev.
It's so worthwhile. Dave Filoni's a fucking genius. And anyway, just do it. Just do it.
So can I ask a quick question? Are the episodes like the Clone Wars, Bad Batch, they're cartoons, that much I know, right?
They're animated, yep.
And are they 30-minute episodes?
23,
Shorter.
24.
Shorter.
Okay, so like a normal, like if you were to watch
Yeah.
them on TV, they would
Yeah.
be 30-minute episodes.
Yep.
Obviously, without the commercials, it cuts it down to.
Yep.
Okay,
Corbs, you have Disney Plus?
I do.
It's all there.
Last 4 episodes of Clone Wars, we've talked about it, Corbs. Those are way better than the whole sequel trilogy of Star Wars. You would love that. You'll have the side story of episode 3 for sure.
Okay.
There's so much content in there, and it makes you feel so differently about some of the primary characters that you've gotten to know throughout Star Wars. You will walk away with a completely different feeling, and you'll have this new character that you never knew before, and you'll get to watch her grow throughout the entire Clone Wars series, and it's really good.
And I would
really-
even venture to say that is one of the best new characters created in the Star Wars mythos.
Really
Yeah.
is. I mean, she's deep. Her history is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she used to be a leader of rebels in a jungle. So there's that. The wife and I also watched a couple of movies. I watched 65.
I've not heard good things.
4 actors in the entire movie. 4. 1, 2.
Does that count the T-Rex?
No.
Pieces.
Adam Driver is an astronaut, crash lands on a mysterious planet only to discover it's
Mysterious
prehistoric
planet.
Earth. So Adam Driver
Worst
is
kept
an
secret.
alien.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. It's interesting. It's interesting. You can pretty well see where it's going the whole time. You know exactly what's going to happen. I think Adam Driver is not a very good actor, and I think this movie really points that out. As if the sequels didn't point that out. But anyway, we watched it, and I whatever. And we watched John Henry, Terry Crews, who is definitely not lead role material.
Wait.
Don't
Did he make his
Don't-
X dance?
waste your time.
Noted. I actually did
Like
want to see
John
that,
Henry,
so-
as in like the sledgehammer guy from history?
John Henry Irons?
No, that's where I was going first, but
No.
No, I
No.
wanted to see that, Kev, so it's not worth it.
No.
Okay.
I mean, if you really have nothing else to do, I mean, and
Like,
I mean nothing.
does
like-
this trump like hot pokers in the eyes, or
Oh yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah,
I mean, you said Terry Crews is the leading man, so my first thought was to poke my eyes out.
Terry Crews is another one of those actors that no matter what he does, he's still Terry Crews.
Right.
Anyway,
With the pecs popping, yes.
he
Pecs are
actually looks
popping.
like he needs a bra on this one. I mean, really,
I mean,
really. So that's what I got.
all right. So I guess it's my turn, and then again, springboarding off of needs a bra. The one thing I've gotten to watch in the last week is Barbie.
I saw that too. I don't. I forgot about that. Yeah.
You guys
All
go
right.
together?
No,
No.
thank
Did
God, no.
You didn't do the Barbenheimer?
No, the
No,
whole
they
family
should.
went. And first, I'm gonna do a little bit of a hot takes here because I don't think as a man and B a white man, I'm allowed to dislike Barbie because I guess that just makes me an awful person.
You are.
but
It doesn't make you an awful person.
I just am. Barbie sucked, and so does that Jason Aldean song.
Yeah, Barbie was not great. I'll agree with you on that.
It was fucking stupid.
Yes, it
I
was.
went into it with an open mind.
Of course it is.
It's
You're a male
fucking
chauvinist.
awful. I'm okay with that then because it was just a horrible movie, and even Kristen thought so. Madison loved it. She fucking gave it a standing ovation, but Madison and Kylie was like, "Well, I guess I liked it."
The only reason I'd go see it is because Margot Robbie was in it. And
yeah,
I
and
don't
she is.
think it's
She's
worth
in
it.
all
I
of
don't
the
think it's
little
worth
Barbie.
it.
It's not. It really is not. There are like I laughed twice in the movie, and it was both because of Helen Mirren's voiceovers.
That was funny. I'll give you that. I liked where you had the creator of Barbie. Like she had a couple of cool things to say, but that was about it. It was Rita Perlman, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she was cool. But yeah, they made Will Ferrell
spoiling the fucking surprise for people who haven't seen that part.
Oh, sorry.
But
I'm just embarrassed
like
I'm doing a podcast with two guys who've actually seen the Barbie movie.
No,
I can at least say that my kids wanted to see it.
I wouldn't
I thought
matter.
it was PG-13.
Yeah, it is not for kids.
It's not.
No,
It's not.
So what
it
the
is
hell are
not.
you doing? What kind of fucking parent are you?
The kind that takes my 13-year-old to a movie she wants to see.
I know. I wanted to see Oppenheimer, but Emily wanted to
Fucking
see that. So I was like,
douchebag.
fuck. Yeah.
It was bad. It's really bad. Don't buy into the hype. It's shit.
Nope.
And I'm done.
Okay.
You're a male chauvinist pig.
I am.
Then finish up.
But the patriarchy.
Fucking
Grab your fucking
patriarchy.
nuggets and let's go home.
Let's do this. All right. My wisdom nuggets. When Miley Cyrus is naked and licks a hammer, it's art and music. But when I do it, I'm wasted and have to leave Home Depot. Good night, everybody, and megabyte me, bitches.
This has been a GeekPod Network production.